Hello and welcome to this thought for the day from the Chapels Royal, Her Majesty's Palace and Fortress, the Tower of London. Greetings and good health to you wherever you are. Today is Tuesday, the 12th of October, 2021. Let me start this week with a question. Do you agree with everything that is said in these thoughts for the day? Well, obviously, I cannot hear your response, but I rather imagine that the answer will be a resounding no. In fact, I personally have received emails from some consumers of these weekly items directly challenging some of the things that I've said. I'd be very surprised if it were not so, and I would not want it otherwise. These are not tablets of stone handed down from the mountain, but reflections designed to provoke thought. Hence the name, Thoughts for the Day. They are expressions of one person's opinion, and it would be passing strange if everyone else agreed. Whenever we encounter a new situation, we respond to it using the accumulated knowledge and experience from our own individual lives. What to one person may be clear and acceptable, may to another person be unclear and objectionable. To give a vivid example, a New York children's charity, similar to Barnardo's or the Children's Society, took in children from desperately deprived backgrounds. These unfortunate infants had nothing. With the best of intentions, their new carers not only provided them with clean clothes and a comfortable and safe environment, but also gave them toys to play with. They were dismayed. When being presented with teddy bears, the children screamed and became distressed. Why this extreme reaction to teddy bears? Because the children, who'd never had teddy bears, identified them as rats. The rats which had infested their previous squalid homes. Now that is an extreme example, but I hope that you see the point, that we each respond to new situations and new ideas on the basis of our own past. Part of the trick of achieving maturity as members of families and of wider society is learning to ask ourselves why we might respond negatively to certain things and whether we might not be better off by adapting to them. We are beset nowadays, as we've reflected here before, by a culture which employs simplistic black versus white, yes versus no approaches to issues. I recall the occasion on the BBC's Today programme when two leading specialists on some topic or other were brought together, and to the dismay of the interviewer, who'd been hoping for a clash of opposing opinions, they agreed with each other. The interviewer actually said that if he'd known they were going to agree, he would not have invited them on. Now, in fact, they did not by any means agree on all points, but what they declined to do was to take up entrenched positions against each other and then refuse to listen to the other's point of view. The insistence on having the only right answer and the concomitant determination to be deaf to other opinions is clearly unhelpful when it comes to addressing real problems. To take a current example, the telecoms provider BT's floated the idea of an app linked to a telephone number, 888, which women and other people feeling vulnerable could use to enhance their own safety and which, if widely adopted, could possibly act as a deterrent to attacks on women in the street. A spokeswoman on the subject of violence against women dismissed the idea as a complete waste of time and said that the real problem was male violence. Why should women have to resort to some telephone number or app on their phones? I'm sure I can't be alone in thinking this ideological rejection of a modest proposal was counterproductive. Nobody blames pedestrians who are killed or injured on our roads by poor drivers. Better driving is clearly the answer, but that does not mean that we reject measures such as street lighting and traffic cameras, nor does it mean that it's not for pedestrians to think about their own safety and to adopt prudent measures to stay safe. As with so many other issues in life, it is not a simple question of either or, but of both and. Feelings run high, and rightly so, on matters such as male violence against women. But an absolute refusal to entertain novel suggestions which might prevent even one abduction or one death is surely counterproductive. To say that you want to maintain the focus on one aspect of the problem is fine, but let us not ignore the role of peripheral vision in orientating ourselves in our world. People will disagree. That is natural and will not change. But as the Archbishop of Canterbury has repeatedly said in his mission of reconciliation, we should strive to disagree well. We should disagree calmly, openly, and clearly. We should listen to the views which we find hard to accept, and we should have the honesty to examine our own views. St. John the Evangelist tells us that our Lord enjoined his disciples to love one another. He did not tell them that they should agree with each other on everything and at all times. Loving one another means precisely accepting difference and sometimes sublimating our own strongly held views for the common good. Of course, you may disagree.